what we're going to start, and this is the first one of a series of introduction to CVT. This is actually the introduction. We'll have several more. Again, I could go on forever about this. Anybody that knows me knows I'm long-winded, so we're going to break this into portions. What is a CVT? A CVT is a continuously variable transmission. What does that mean? It means it's a snowmobile. Give it gas, it goes faster. Let off the gas, goes slower. In the CVT, it's all about ratio change. It really does not shift. Now, we'll get into a little bit later about people that say they shift because they have a sport mode, for the guys that want to feel it. I'll kind of go over it when I show you kind of how a pulley works. Again, let's get right to the meat of it. This is a CVT. It's a transmission. When you first look at it, it's no different than looking at an AW5550, an AF21, 4F2070. It's parts in a case. With CVT, it can have a torque converter, or one other little wrinkle in these, and you'll see this in others, where you hear of a hybrid or a PHT, partial hybrid. Instead of a torque converter, what it has is a giant electric motor that sits in this housing. There'll be big wires going to it. It'll have the magnet, the center of it, and what it has is a real hard magnet, and they're fun at first until everything you got sticks to it, and then you won't have fun no more. Then it has a clutch, just a regular old typical clutch pack hub, such, and it connects to that. So when you pull up to a stop sign, it stops. You step on the gas, and similar to a golf cart, this motor fires up, engages the clutch, turns it, and then operates as a torque converter. Again, it's a whole nother animal, but if you see it, the difference generally between torque converter, start-stop motor. Push that to the side. One of the problems we're seeing most is, what do you have? The names on these are crazy. I've done a couple cheat sheets. I'll show them briefly. We'll have them on the video here. But when you're looking at a CVT, they put a ton of identifying marks on it. Okay, so one of the parts of IDing these things, because again, they all kind of look the same, run together. It's no different than any other automatic. One good thing that CVTs have is they all come with this nice little tag on here, but of course we all know what happens to that. Flies off. This 3VX0C is the code for this one. It can cross over into exactly what unit this is. Luckily, the little part of the tag will have it, but the best thing is, every one of these I've seen it right here embossed, 3VXOC, and then the serial number of the unit. Them, when you're ordering, when you're trying to decipher what it is, actually if you took this 3VXOC and Googled it, it would come up with what year, make, and model this went in, and it would actually tell you what type of tranny it is. It's really kind of simple. Stuff's coming together a lot better for these. And also on this one, if it happened to have the neutral switch or the MLPS on there, on top of that is also one of these tags that would have the same number to it. So again, guys, you start getting this, let's take what it is, let's decipher it across a couple charts, and we'll get it all figured out. Now you know what they're working on. That's half the battle right there, is just knowing what you got. One of the things, and we'll show you some better, here's like that number I was showing you. All you would do is go down this list till you find it. It'll tell you what unit. It'll tell you all kinds of other things about it. We're in the process of working to try to make this legible and easy to read for people. The next thing, it shows you how to ID, and there again it shows you where it's engraved. The picture also shows other places. Again, this is how my printer printed it. Just for a brief show, we have it, we'll put it in there. The next thing I did is because, again, why make stuff easy for anybody? I made a little teeny cheat sheet, and it's work in progress. I did it for me because I can't never remember anything. But if you got an REO F09A, and it's actually RE0F09A, they're not O's in the letter, they're zeros like in numerals. So again, when you go across there, that's a JFO10. REO F09A, JFO10E. Easy, right? No, because in the heat of battle, you get them backwards. Now you send the wrong kit, customer orders the wrong thing. So I made kind of a cheat sheet. Now if you look at the very bottom, REO F11A is a JFO15, really jumped up the food chain. But if it was in a Chrysler, it's the F1CJB. Again, Chrysler. So you got Nissan, you got Jatco, and Chrysler had to put their own spin on it. That's where a lot of our problems are going. CVT is nothing more than two pulleys, variators, because that's what they do, they variate, but they're two pulleys and they'll run a belt. If you can look at the belt, it's angled right here. It's smooth, it runs at a pitch on both sides. That squeezes in between these two things. And these go up and down. So here's kind of how they operate. If you think of a little wheel and a big wheel, this wheel is going to spin faster, it's smaller than this one. So as you're working on a CVT, basically what you have is two wheels, and they're going to go like this. Faster, slower. This being the drive one. This turn fast, this will go slower. As you're going down the road, at one point they're going to be even. Then it's going to go like this. And that's all a CVT does. It continuously variates on your speed. Again, when you're going down the road, and again I'm jerking, it don't quite work like this, but you're going to get the great idea. As this belt sits in here, it'll sit way up on this one towards the outside. This one will be higher, so the belt will sit all the way in. And as you're going down the road, this is what you get. Faster. The further it goes in, the faster this is going to turn. When it comes out, the belt pushes out, the slower it's going to turn. So as you're going down the road, this is just continuously doing this. If you notice, I have little straps around this belt. If you happen to pull one of these off the shelf or you see one, put something around it, tape it, do something. These two little bands that are on the edge of this is all that holds these little pieces together. I know from experience, because as I was wrestling this off on the very first one, it fell into 1,000 pieces. After I spent hours putting it back together, I found out they are directional. So this is a absolutely worthless band, but it's a nice display piece. So again, if your guy drops it and he wants to attempt to put it back together, just let him know they're directional. But a new belt should come with straps on them. Don't cut them until you have it installed, because if they fall apart, gone. This is just one half of an assembly, and I just wanted to show you the angle. And that angle matches the angle here. So it sets very similar to that. And again, all it does, starts in here. As it's driving down the road, it works its way up. As it slows down, it comes down faster and slower. Again, metal on metal. Whatever you do, don't put regular fluid in here. CVT fluid is special, designed for this kind of metal-to-metal contact and the pressures it takes to not allow this belt to slip. One other little variable we're going to talk about today, and then we're going to let you go. And then the next time we come, we'll start peeling into this. They also have what they call a chain type. Now it looks kind of like a chain, except inside are no teeth. They ride on these pins right here, right on the very edge. And these pins are angled. Same way the belt is. Got the angle, got the angle. This happens to be out of a Ford, but Nissan also has the belt types. They're for bigger engines. I don't quite understand it because in between each one of these is space, not full contact. This belt contacts the whole way around. This is beefier than that, but I believe this has more metal-to-metal contact than this does. But I'm no engineer. They must have thought this was heavier. Here's the pulleys for it from a Ford. Again, still have that same angle. It works on the same way as it just goes up and down, up and down. That's all it is. It's an oversized snowmobile. Relatively simple. The hardest part's no parts. We now have that covered. And once we do our diligence on the parts to make it easier to understand, life will be great for everybody. Again, stay tuned for part 2, and happy selling on CVTs.